See, my uncle was in Siberia. My mother's youngest brother was in Siberia for 8 years. And I remember when he came home in 1954. And that was, I mean, that was horrendous. And I listened to him for hours and hours on end of how they were treated in Siberia. He left as a 17-year-old. They took him from the street as a 17-year-old. And he came back in 1954. I remember him. I never forget. And I mean, he looked like an old man. He had gray hair. He's a 20-some-year-old. So it was a very painful thing in the family to discuss, because you couldn't discuss it. You couldn't discuss it because he was so scared, having lived through it. Not until we were older, when I went back, that I talked to him, and he was telling us stories that were just pretty awful. He was a 17-year-old, what was called Levente, which they were training with. This is a story I was told. Wooden guns, and the Russians took these. It was an organization of young boys that were not army trained yet because they were too young, and the Russians just took them, and he was in the archipelago in Siberia for 8 years in captivity, and they let a few of them go, and they said, "Here, go." And just his trip from Siberia with no means, with no, with one long coat and a bag, how they came back, as getting on trains illegally, getting thrown out of trains just to because they were free to go, but no means of getting there.